Hi everyone, this is Julianne Victoria of Through the Peacock's Eyes. Welcome to my channel. So in this video, I want to address, not quite answer, but address a question I get all the time. How do I reconcile the differences between Western astrology or the tropical zodiac and Vedic astrology or the sidereal zodiac? So first, let's look at what the verb to reconcile means. It means to restore harmony, to resolve differences, or to check for accuracy. So the meaning of reconcile has an implication that something or some of the two things, or maybe more things that you're trying to reconcile, is wrong. Like something is right and something else is wrong. And so my answer to that question, how do I reconcile the differences? I don't reconcile. I see them as two different systems. So if you don't know, if you're new to my channel, first time coming here, welcome, by the way. I practice both Western astrology and Vedic astrology, and I see them as the two different systems that they are. I don't look at one and think, oh, is that correct and that's wrong, or that's correct and that's wrong. They are two different zodiac and astrological systems. Now, I do have a video out, a very old one, called Western Astrology versus Vedic Astrology, the Major Differences. I'll link that below so you can check that out. So I'm not going to repeat all that information here. But I want to explain that they are different systems. They're different zodiacs. There is also a third zodiac in the Western Vedic astrology realm called the Constellational zodiac, which is basically the sidereal zodiac, which is based on the astronomy. Check out my other video. But it breaks up the constellations, the 12 signs of the zodiac, in different sizes. So Western astrology became a fixed tropical system in the 2nd century AD or CE, right? That's the new way of saying it. After hundreds, if not thousands of years of astrologers studying astrology, and they fixed it as a tropical system, which is based upon the seasons. And because it is a fixed system, today, in the 21st century, it does not match the astronomy. That does not mean it's wrong. It's a different system. It's a tropical system. Vedic astrology is based on the sidereal zodiac. Sider means star or constellation, and it is based upon the astronomy. It is not a fixed system. So one is not wrong, one is not right, and for these smaller proportion of astrologers who practice constellational astrology, that's not wrong or right either. It's a different system, a different way of working with the astrology. And also, when Western astrology was fixed, because of those hundreds, if not thousands of years of astrologers studying the stars and studying the seasons and studying astrology, they just concluded that having the 12 zodiac signs the same size in an astrology chart, I believe I've read it's deemed the most accurate. And I've read it in different sources over the years, so I can't give you an exact one. So yeah, again, to answer the question, they're different systems. And a good way to point this out is to bring in Chinese astrology, because Chinese astrology, though there are similarities and it's based on the same stars that we see everywhere else, it has a very different looking system. It has 12 very different signs. It takes in account the elements. Like, for example, I'm a wood tiger in Vedic or in Chinese astrology. It has to do with the cycle of Jupiter, which goes through the whole zodiac every 12-ish years. So it's a very different system compared to Western and Vedic astrology. And I think because Western and Vedic astrology have a lot of similarities, they have an incredible amount of overlap, yet also an incredible amount of differences, that it's easier for people to say, oh, well, that's right and that's wrong. Where Chinese astrology, people don't say that. They don't say Western's wrong and Chinese is right because they look so different. So it's easier to realize and see and acknowledge that they are different systems. Now, also with Western or Vedic astrology, as well as using the constellational zodiac, but there's so much overlap with Vedic there. We're just going to include it there for this conversation. You can't compare one-to-one correlations. So I get this all the time. Clients, comments on my videos, people I'm talking to, they'll say, well, I'm a Cancer sun in Vedic astrology and a Leo sun in Western astrology. That doesn't make sense. Only one really resonates, and on and on. Well, of course, those are adjacent signs. Adjacent signs rub against each other. They butt heads. They are the signs that your adjacent signs are the ones you're least likely to get along with. But of course, that's just one isolated piece, the sun sign, in a chart. The similarities in, like, say, how I read someone, if I were to read someone's Western tropical chart and someone's Vedic sidereal chart, will not come from those one-to-one correlations because they are different systems. They have different nuances, different layers to them, and there are slightly different ways to read them that will vary a bit from astrologer to astrologer, of course. But they're different systems. They are not to be reconciled. They are not to be judged right or wrong. It's a different astrology or astrological system. So I hope that answers that question. And especially because I see these comments all the time, when you're looking at your Western astrology and then say you pull up your Vedic chart, you're not identified in the same way either. So Western, we often go by our sun sign. And why? Because we all know what month and day we're born and what year. And it's easy to look up. Vedic astrology, you go by your ascendant or moon sign. You're not called by your sun sign. Like, I'm a Leo sun in Western astrology. I don't call myself a Cancer because my sun is in Cancer in Vedic. Going by your sun sign in Vedic astrology is just not done. Okay, I guess that's all I have to say. I want to point that out because I get that question all the time. And I want to help people to start seeing that they're different systems. It's not one right, one wrong. It's not, that's inaccurate, this is accurate. They're read different ways. I mean, there's Chaldean astrology, there's other types of astrology, there's Mayan astrology. They're different systems. And once you accept that it's a different system that must be looked at in its own way and not looked at solely in comparison to what you have known or what you are slightly familiar with, you'll see that you'll be able to see it more clearly. You'll be able to learn it more clearly and understand it more clearly. Yeah. Okay. So I hope that brings some clarity for lots of people who are wondering that, especially people who have only known Western astrology, and you come across those articles and blog posts that circulate. They circulate like about every 5 years. Suddenly there's this burst of blog posts or articles saying your astrology is all wrong. And it's not. Western astrology is a fixed system. It's not wrong because it doesn't match where the stars are right now. That's a sidereal system. So remember, they're different systems. One's not wrong, one's not right. They're each their own thing. All astrological systems are their own systems. Yes, you may resonate with one more than the other, but don't reconcile them. If you want to understand them for what they are, it's just like people. You don't want this friend to be just like this friend. You don't try to reconcile their differences. They're different people. You accept them and get to know them for who they are, not who this one is in comparison to this one. Okay, enough of a ramble. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and I'll see you back here soon.